Can you see them? Right here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Like in everywhere. Those are little baby apple tree seedlings. As I've told you guys in other videos, last fall I spread a whole bunch of apple pulp from making hard cider out in this little space here. And I was hoping that I would eventually get some wild apple tree sprouts going. And as I'm looking at it right now, it's looking pretty darn good. I mean, yeah, there's some weeds popping up here and there and some grasses popping up, but overall you can really see it. There are some apple seedlings definitely sprouting here. Look, right there. So far, it looks like my apple tree seedling experiment is looking like a success. Pablo, get out of there. As long as I keep the barn cats out. Get out, come on. Come on, buddy. Out of there. I gotta say though, I'm tuckered today. So I got up really early this morning and I decided that today was the day that I was gonna clean out the duck house.
Release the Kraken!
We do a deep litter bedding method here at our farm. So that means, you know, we have a dirt floor on our duck house and we pile straw and hay on top of their poop. So it just kind of builds up over time. I started keeping them there in like late September, early October, and they have been going to town. I haven't really cleaned it out. I did a little bit of cleaning out early on, but most of that bedding has been in there for several months. And I decided today was the day to try to clear it out. I'm gonna ultimately take all that bedding and use it as mulch and compost for my trees. So it's got a really good use. I really needed to let it sit outside and compost a little bit more, and by turning it and giving it some more oxygen and letting the rain fall on it, it'll do all those things for it naturally. So today was the day to do that. Look how deep that compost is. That is 6 months of duck bedding. That is a foot of compost. Look at that. It's right at the 12-inch mark. Huh, a foot of compost. I only had about 2 hours to work on the farm before I had to leave and go do other things, but I got a fair amount done in that period of time. It was actually a lot more than I thought it would be. You know, work went a lot faster than it did. I just sort of popped on my headphones and listened to a podcast and just went to work. It was kind of nice. By the way, guys, don't forget the Goldshaw Farm podcast is available. Be sure to check it out. Link down below. I mean, unearthing the duck compost like that, it's kind of funny. It feels like the memories of the winter just sort of coming up. You know, I found random things like an old ceramic egg that had gone missing. I actually found one egg that was laid that I hadn't found that somehow got covered up in bedding and was just ancient and petrified and disgusting. As far as stuff that I had to do, I ended up going on my friend Cherish's live stream, the Southern Mama's Coffee Break.
I wanted to do homesteading for myself and my family just to provide food for us. But you have got like a whole new set of how to make it become your job, make money for you, and become a business.
I think a lot of people out there fall into this trap of saying, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have some land and I want to get some, sheep or some chickens or whatever, and I'll sell some of it, but you'll use some of it to make food for us and it'll all work itself out. But if you're just kind of taking that attitude, I think it's actually tough to be successful.
So you think Daenerys will end up on the throne and Jon's gonna go?
No, I think it's gonna be somebody completely unexpected and uninspiring that you're just gonna be like, really? Like, Gendry is the guy? Like, what?
Apparently I was their first male guest ever. It was a lot of fun. We had a really good conversation. I'll leave a link for that down below too. After that, I ended up going to our local preschool and visiting the kids. So the kids at our local preschool, I gave them a bunch of our duck eggs, fertilized duck eggs, so that they could put it in an incubator and you know, have as a class project that they could hatch them. And so I came into the class and talked to them about our ducks and showed them pictures, and I brought a whole bunch of feathers and eggs and other things for them to play with. We had a good time, it was a lot of fun. And apparently in a couple weeks we're gonna have some ducklings, because apparently once they hatch them, they don't know what to do with them, so they're just gonna give them back to me and I'll just introduce them into the flock. After that, I went off farm to go do some work, a little bit more lucrative work than farming, unfortunately. But once that was done, I ended up here at the farm and I finished the job of clearing out the compost.
So you can see in here, it's pretty much entirely mucked out. There's little strands here and there, but I'm not trying to make this place spotless. But it's incredible how much waste material we pulled out of here today.
And I say we.
The royal we, you know, the editorial.
Sometimes you gotta just dig in and do the work, right? It was kind of remarkable to see the place just kind of nearly empty. I didn't totally empty it out because of a couple reasons. One, that's a lot of work that's probably unnecessary. And two, you actually, I think, want to inoculate the new litter bedding that you're putting in with the old compost. Apparently that's good for composting. And so I left a little bit of trace elements on the floor, but then I just ended up spreading a whole bunch of fresh hay on there so that, you know, as I brought the ducks in tonight, they would have some fresh bedding. Hopefully the next time I have to clean this out, it's to turn this into like a storage shed. And I've already moved the ducks into their new house. And at the end of the day, this is what my compost mountain looks like.
And you can see there is a very good deal of it, plenty of it. A lot of it's broken down. A lot of it has a bit of a ways to go. So what I'm gonna do here is just leave this stuff here and let it do its thing. I'm hoping it doesn't attract any predators or any sort of problems like that. I'm sure there will be rodents that want to try to pick through it. Luckily, we have the two furry sentries kind of doing their job, or hopefully doing their job and tackling that. I will say they've been on the prowl a lot more. I mean, almost on a daily basis, they are bringing us various rodent carcasses.
Now, Pablo, that's what I call earning your keep, buddy. Good job.
We cut down how much we feed the barn cats this time of year. Right now it's just like a tiny, tiny bit, not nearly enough to sustain a cat, so they're actually getting most of their diet as a wild diet. Speaking of barn cats,
She got one. Do you see that? She's been vicious. Nice job, sweetheart.
So as I was saying, I'm not too worried about the rodents because I got this killing machine on my hands. So I think she's gonna do a great job. That was ridiculously good timing. You know, I know people are gonna probably write comments like, oh dude, that was totally staged, but no, it wasn't. I was just hanging out here in the pasture with the barn cats and bam! Good work, Lil.
So yeah, so this is what my 6 months worth of duck compost looks like.
Now it's getting to be about dark, so I guess it's time for me to bring the quacking in. All ducks, go to bed! 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 All ducks, go to bed!
And would you look at that, I get to enjoy some nice fresh clean bedding and some food.